Hey all, welcome to the channel. We're here at the end of the day. I've taken my three trades of the day, and it was a good day. It was a very positive day. I'm up $675 today, which is a little bit more than I lost yesterday. So good day, good return from yesterday's losses. I'm now up $490 on this eval after 3 days of trading. And I'll just show you the trades that I took today. Go through a quick summary of what I was looking at. So my first trade in the London session was a simple double top pattern that we formed right at the beginning of the session, I think it was. So we tapped. We were from coming up from the lows, came up for a bit, and then we inverted this bearish fair value gap. We inverted this one, and we'd come up a bit further, but we hadn't tapped into it yet. So I was aware that we might tap into it and go higher at a later point, but at this point I was looking at this double top, so I took the entry. I took it a bit late. I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually get in there because we didn't close below this bullish fair value gap that you can see here. But in the end, I did take it. So I was looking for a one-to-one. So what I did was I took the entry and I put the stop at the high, and I just held it for the 70 ticks that it would have been if I'd got in where I wanted it, where I should have entered. So if I'd entered at around 97s, the exit would have been here. I still would have got out if I had entered as I should have. But so all I wanted from this trade with the slightly better entry was that 70 tick take profit, which eventually happened. I was almost stopped out there. I was a few ticks away from being stopped out, and then price rejected. So we came down, swept this high here, and then started to sink lower. Had a little bounce off this inverted fair value gap, and then so then eventually hit my take profit. So then we came up. We essentially did what I kind of expected price to do, which was use this fair value gap to go higher. A lot of people would say we closed below this inverted fair value gap, so it was no longer valid. But that's not how I like to think of it. I don't like with NQ. It doesn't really respect fair value gaps as much as ES does. So when I see a move that sets up, so we're coming down low of the day, very clear inverse fair value gap there. I think if you take an entry there, or you wait a bit lower, and enter there, even if it closed below that inverted fair value gap, I think that trade is still valid and you should hold it. Not advice, but that's what I would do. Hold it, and then eventually it gave. Well, it would have given a big trade if you'd held that long off the IFEG. Could have rode it all the way up. If that's the sort of trading that you like to do. But that's not the trade that I was looking at. I got my trade. I noticed this push up above, and I was fairly certain that we were going for the highs at that point. We essentially, just a bit of analysis quickly. We saw that we'd formed a new high here. That was yesterday. And then essentially what we did was we came back into the discount of that leg up. So if you draw it, we'd come back below the 50% mark. I'm not sure if this can have. Yeah, this doesn't really have the function for like separating it by halves, but we essentially came into a discount and then rejected out of there. So I had a feeling that we were going for the highs, but I probably should have listened to that. What we did in the morning of the New York session when it opened. So what I saw was price sort of doodling around here and forming a double, triple top sort of formation. So I got in late again. I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been with the charts. But I got in late for that sell entry, and I was stopped out within, must have been like 30 seconds, perhaps less. Quickly stopped out with the stop above the highs. I was looking for a 1-to-1, but yeah, I was immediately stopped out for a small loss of around 45, 50 ticks, which isn't the worst thing. If I had entered here, then I would probably have had my stop around there. So it would have been a similar stop, but because I entered late, I put the stop a bit higher. Um, but yeah, lost on that trade, so I was only up a little bit at that point. Ended my trading here for that session. Price pushed up. I think it just retested that sort of breakout sort of zone. So it came, pushed up, retested it, and then went higher there, and then started showing some weakness in the afternoon. So where I came back was the price was around this point. I was trying to look at this, and I was seeing a sort of bottoming pattern happen there with some SMT with ES. So we had formed a high in NQ, and ES had formed a lower low, but I wasn't willing to just enter there. I think price before the session started had ended up here essentially. That's where the session started for me. So there was no way I would take a long from there. If it was here, then yes, I probably would have, but it's sunk down. So I was expecting price to then drop down and hit this low here. I was expecting price to doodle around here and then form an entry for me, but it just went without me, so I couldn't jump on board the sell there. But what I did see was when we swept this low, we formed an immediate big rejection candle there at around 105, I think that candle is. So for me, that was my entry trigger. With ES as well, we had already swept the low of day, so that gave me a bit more certainty in my trade as well. So the fact that we didn't close below this, or we didn't show any weakness really in this with this candle, we immediately brought up. So my view was that selling was done at that point, and I wanted to enter. So what I did in that trade, I waited for the price to pull back so I could enter at around 160, and I entered there because it would give me 100 tick stop loss, which is what I prefer in my trading when prices has this sort of movement. Obviously, the candle ended there, so I just waited for a bit of pullback, got my entry, and then just held it for a little while until 20 minutes later I got my take profit there. So yeah, it was a really nice day. Overall, ended up $675 on the day. So now positive on the account again. So everything's looking up. I think I was right in that trade as well. So you could see the selling was pretty much done at that point. Price went up, sold down again. That would have been a nice entry short if I would have still been trading. Got for a 1-to-1 at least, and then came down to there, and then just pumped up. And I think the selling's pretty much done, and we're going to move back up now. So yeah, all in all, good day. Up on the account now, and looking forward to tomorrow. So that's all for this summary, and I shall see you in my live session in London. Bye.